What up, what up, what up? Good morning, everybody.
What's going
Y'all
on?
got to forgive me. I'm feeling a little under the weather, just a little bit. But listen, I just want to say, the No Stingy Energy Podcast presents an exciting new episode on how to get started in the tech industry in 2024. We'll dive deep into navigating the tech landscape, offering insight into the latest trends and emerging opportunities, learn about the essential skills and technologies you need to master to succeed, and discover the best education and training resources from online courses to boot camps to kickstart your tech career. Understand the importance of networking and finding mentors in the tech community and get practical job search strategies, including resume building and interview prep. Don't miss this episode with actionable advice to help you launch and thrive in a tech career. It's going to be amazing.
So what to expect on the show today? Navigating the tech landscape, gaining insight into the latest trends, emerging opportunities in the tech industry. Essential skills, learn about the key skills and technologies you need to master to succeed in tech. Education and training, discover the best resources from online courses to boot camps to kickstart your tech career. Networking and mentorship, understanding the importance of building connections, finding mentors in the tech community. Job search strategies, get practical tips to how to land your first tech job, including resume building, interview prep, and more. This episode is packed with actionable advice, insight to help you break into the tech industry. Let's get into No Stingy Energy. Good morning. Welcome to No Stingy Energy. My name is O'Neal Parker, real estate investor, entrepreneur out of Lafayette, Louisiana. I've been investing in real estate since 2016. Full-time entrepreneur 2020, do all things real estate, really love rentals and passive income. Also the owner of Leverage to Wealth, teaching people how to get in real estate with little to no money and how you can be successful. Also owner of Elite Construction in Louisiana. So any construction needs, you can holler at me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Listen, my name is Byron, real estate investor out of Houston, Texas, primarily focused on the wholesale space, do a little bit of creative finance, fix and flip, new construction, new to the build to rent space. Definitely excited about being the co-owner of First Choice Development, where we help projects. We take your vision and turn it into your investment or house living dreams. So we are a full service construction company and builder and development company. So we could take you from start to finish. If you're looking to build anything in the Houston area, definitely reach out to your boy, and we're going to get you situated and taken care of at the highest level. Remember, First Choice Development. But listen, we got an amazing show today. We got an amazing show today.
I'm excited, man. We got our friend joining us, man. We ain't talked to him in a minute on him. We talked to him in the chat, but I don't think he ever been on screen. Has he been on screen yet? I don't think so.
Not on screen, just in the chat, So, we got a lot to talk about because, we've talked about tech, right? We've talked about tech and all of the amazing opportunities in tech, but we're talking from what we see in the trends, what we see in the articles, what we've read about. But today we want to dive deeper into somebody who is living that life, somebody who is working with people in that life and building real careers, with small amounts of training in some cases and getting to a massive bag. And the reason why this is so important is because I'm a firm believer, that you got to be able to make that first six figures. I think that first 6 figures opens the doors for any investment journey.
To know it's possible.
Yeah, not just to know what's possible, but it also gives you just enough income to start putting something aside that's significant enough to really jumpstart the rest of your life, in my opinion.
Yeah, that should be everybody's first goal. How can I make six figures? And then, of course, you should want to invest before that. But I think what you said, once you hit that 6-figure mark, life get a little bit more comfortable. You get a little bit more flexibility.
If you're saving it right.
Yeah.
Now, if you spending all of that six, you know what I'm saying, you may be a whole problematic person. It may be a you thing.
Facts. Man, I was watching a few YouTube videos yesterday. The tech industry is different than what I thought. So when I hear tech industry, first thing that comes to my mind is, well, you play with computers. That's not 100% true. Did you know the tech industry is just a title, just like the healthcare industry, construction industry? I didn't know that. I thought everything was computer-based.
Yeah.
So I was very shocked when I heard that, because they have some people that's in the tech industry, they don't know nothing about no damn computer. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. But it makes sense, because I mean, at the end of the day, you still need security guards, you still need cafeteria workers, you still need all of the things, right? You still need all of those pieces in any industry, including tech, right? So obviously you would need other facets of that. But listen, man, we got my guy. We got my guy Jarrett in the building. Listen, Jarrett has been just a good friend for a long time, and a good friend of the show as well. We've talked to Jarrett multiple times throughout the years on Clubhouse. Some of you may remember him from Clubhouse. But Jarrett, for the people who may not know, you mind doing a quick introduction as to who you are and why they should care about today's episode?
Yeah, man, you got me in the office early today, so if I got a little crack in my voice, that's why. But hey, what's up, man? Y'all, my name is Jarrett Albritton. I've been in the tech space since 2006. Before like Black in Tech was like a trendy, popular thing. Worked at IBM as a software enterprise sales rep, and after that, worked for startups particularly. So I was part of one acquisition, was part of one IPO. That company actually just got bought by SAP for $1.5 billion. So it was pretty exciting to see my shares jump up the way they did. But during the pandemic, we were all stuck inside the house, got invited to an app called Clubhouse. And in December of 2020, saw this room called Blacks in Tech. I had like 80 followers at the time. I saw them talking about, tech and a bunch of Black people. I'm Black. I've been in tech. So I popped on stage and started talking about my experience in software sales and just putting people on to the fact that software sales is a very lucrative career. People can make anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million W-2s. And it went from basically that one room to doing another room to doing rooms every day to where I grew my audience to about 80,000 on Clubhouse. And the big way I did that was just by putting tech recruiters on stages and having people connect with them. And also just highlighting amazing people in tech and just, identifying what are the resources, what are the challenges that they had, how they overcome them, all those things. And so that evolved into me going to YouTube and hosting my podcast, Big Tech Energy Podcast. We'd love for everybody to subscribe and check that out. But I'm speaking at a lot of tech conferences. I collaborate with a lot of organizations. I currently work at an AI startup called RightC, and we do basically AI-powered career services that can be white labeled by universities, workforce development centers, and nonprofits helping job seekers. So, I'm very much into AI, very much into how do people excel and progress in their careers. So, I'm gonna keep it real though. It's a tough market right now, but I'm gonna give some solutions, advice as to, what's the best way to at least approach it from a mindset perspective, as well as, how to network your way in and what resources may be helpful from an educational standpoint. So yeah, look forward to the conversation.
Love it. You're on mute, Byron. You're on mute. He probably can't hear us.
Oh, yeah, Jarrett, real quick. What drove you to tech though? Out of all of the industries.
I was like the same thing. You said 2006?
Yeah, 2006.
But
Graduated Texas at Austin.
sound like you was damn near the founder of tech, because I ain't know shit about tech.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, it was just kind of a lucky situation because I never studied tech or, was even thinking about getting into tech. So my background is in sales. I did sales during college, door to door sales, 80 hours a week, real hardcore sales, but it paid my way through college. And then one summer I did a internship with the university director. He sold Yellow Page advertising for Florida National University in Miami. So I had 3 summers of sales experience, and I was really looking for a sales role that had like a business aspect to it, that was a high paying potential sales position. So I was at the Career Expo and I met IBM, told them about my story. They were like, wow, you're insane. Like, I can't believe you did that in college. And they invited me out to a Career Expo in Atlanta, which is like a diversity hiring summit. They basically told me, like, look, you're probably not going to get the job because you don't have 3 to 5 years work experience. You don't have an MBA, but we'll invite you anyways because we just like you. You know what I'm saying? And that's one key about sales is, people buy from who they like, and then they also like, put on who they like. So, I just was likable. They invited me out. And then long story short, I convinced them to fly me to New York, because I was like, look, I know I won't get the job, but I'd love the opportunity to meet the management in New York to just have a face to my name and put me in the files. They're like, cool. And then my mentor was like, look, when you get there, ask for the job. They're not going to expect it. And don't say nothing, just ask for it. So I, killed the interview because I was very prepared. And then I said, look, I know I don't have 3 to 5 years work experience. I answered objections. Like, I know I don't have 3 to 5 years work experience. I know I don't have an MBA. But there's nobody that's going to work harder than me. There's nobody that's more passionate about the solution. And there's nobody that's going to be as coachable as me. And I'm not afraid to ask the CEO of Walgreens, the CEO of Walmart, the CEO of Samsung for the deal. So in the same way I'm not afraid to ask them, I'm going to ask you, can I have the position? And I just shut up and I just stared him in his eyes. And it was just like, whoever talks first, loses. So he looked at me like, the audacity of this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow. But he's like, you know what? I can't give you the job right now because I got people in the lobby waiting to meet with me. But I appreciate the, confidence. And I'm really impressed by you at your age and, your ambition. So I got a call from the recruiter at IBM, and he was like, I don't know how you did it, but they're going to give you the offer. And so, 23 years old, I actually got really lucky. So, like, my story definitely isn't the norm, so I'm going to talk about what the norm is. But ultimately, I skipped all the steps in terms of SDR, inside sales, mid-level, commercial to enterprise. I went straight to enterprise at 23 years old. And then once I got there, I just really dug into it. So the answer is tech wasn't really publicized like that in 2006. It was like management information systems and a little bit of engineering, but nobody really talked about it. Nobody really promoted it. And my college, it was kind of like an unknown thing. So for a decade, I would tell people I'm in tech sales. And automatically every time, especially in our community, it was, oh, you work at Best Buy, you work at Geek Squad, can you help my community lab? I'd be like, nah, I sell enterprise solutions to Fortune 500s, $1 million solutions. And so, people didn't know what it was, to the point where I just stopped even explaining what it was. I was like, yeah, man, I can't help you with my laptop, your laptop, but whatever.
Geek Squad.
Geek Squad. That's me.
That is crazy.
That would definitely be me.
Yeah. So that was my story ultimately. Yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned earlier that you said the tech industry is kind of tough right now. When you say tough, what exactly you mean by that?
Yeah. So it's it's one of the toughest markets. Sorry, I was trying to get some coffee, but I'm so early. They haven't even made it yet. So when it comes to the market right now, back in 2021, 2022, the DEI efforts in tech were significantly effective. The George Floyd effect, et cetera. And then there was just a lot of hiring happening. So it was an employees market where you had way more roles than you had candidates. So I used to have recruiters hitting me up all the time, and that's why they used to join my stages on Clubhouse, being like, yo, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. They would give entry-level people more of a shot, etc. 2024, one DEI is getting slashed in like 30 out of 50 states. So the whole advantage of us, being in the space and their need for us is kind of dying down. And I just hate to say it, but that's one way that's getting tougher for us as a community. It's just as Black people. But then the amount of roles are starting to shrink. And because of the popularity of tech, the amount of applicants has surged. And so the roles are shrinking, one, because of the recession. And, the revenue wasn't coming in the way that it was at one point. So they started laying people off. And then two, AI is also replacing certain roles. There's AI for engineering, there's AI agents, which is going to affect, entry-level sales and customer success. And then because of all the layoffs, there is now a abundance of employees or applicants, and then there's less roles. So it's an employer's market now. So employers now have the upper hand where they can put up a job listing and basically farm your resumes and farm your LinkedIns and just kind of store them away and take their good old time. And then, a lot of these entry-level roles are being competed on with experienced people, because if you just got, laid off by Apple, you're still an attractive candidate, and you may just say, you know what, I'll go for a role that's less than what I had at Apple just to get a job. So it's a very, very tough space in the sense that there's thousands of people applying for every single role right now. And so I know, especially in 2021, 2022, it's like breaking the tech, and you can, but I just want people to know, you got to be very, very strategic and intentional about the type of certifications that you get, the type of role you're going for, and then intentional about how you network, because at the end of the day, if you got thousands of applicants, it's going to be crucial that you have a referral to get you past the applicant tracking system that can arbitrarily spit you out based off keywords, et cetera. And then you have somebody that's kind of co-signing you throughout the process, because basically if you don't have somebody co-signing you through the process, you're probably going to lose to them. Even if you get to the second, third, fourth, and final round, the person with a co-sign from an employee that is very respected and accomplished within the organization versus somebody that doesn't, you're going to be at a really big disadvantage. And then, from an accountability standpoint, because I always think about the psychology of everything, if there's two candidates and one of them is referred by Byron, say I pick Byron's candidate and then that candidate is a flop, I can always kind of push off responsibility and be like, yeah, I was going to go with Becky, but that was Byron's candidate. Then that's Byron's guy. So, I give it a shot, you know what I mean? And so that is also an aspect of it too. So it's a tough market right now. And I really feel for everybody that's graduating, everybody that's looking to break in. So, I want to just give that real, so that people aren't just jumping in nonchalantly, they're jumping in like it's a freaking title fight. And if you jump in with that mentality, you can win. And you also have to jump in with the mentality of being very persistent. And then also you got to put yourself out there. You can't just be applying to roles on LinkedIn and expect results. So, I'm kind of previewing what I'll probably talk about more deeper, but it's a tough market for sure in 2024.
Man, we definitely appreciate the honesty. You on mute, Byron.
It kind of sounds like the Airbnb opportunity. You remember how Airbnb, here's the thing, and this is quiet as kept. There's still a lot of people making a tremendous amount of money on Airbnb, right? And Airbnb is still a very profitable company. The last time I checked, very profitable. But, when you look at the press, you look at the headlines, you would think that Airbnb is just all types of problems.
Just got rid of the bullshit. That's all.
Yeah, it got rid of a lot of people that probably shouldn't have been in the game. And it sounds like, and Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, sounds like the tech industry is kind of experiencing a little bit of a purge where, the top tier or, the cream is rising to the crop, and some of the people who just aren't really cut for it are kind of getting, trimmed up. That fat is being trimmed. Is that an accurate analogy, or how would you kind of break that down?
Yeah, I would say that in a sense. I think what happened is there was an overhiring, especially at these big companies. Like they just overhired, and then it's like course correcting. And I would say the whole remote movement of COVID to come back in the office, that's another way to kind of weed people out. The people that wanted to come into the office when they didn't have to, or whatever the case is, those are the ones that kept their jobs. And yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately, there were tech influencers that really promoted a day in the life in tech, and they showed themselves laying by the pool. They showed themselves, going to Whole Foods, going to yoga during the day. Like they were doing these TikToks and, basically like flaunting the fact that I barely work and I'm in tech. And I feel like leadership in tech started seeing that. And then when revenue started going down, they're like, F that. Let's start scrutinizing people's performance and what are the results each individual is giving us, what are the ROI. Let's do employer reviews and discuss how much code, how many sales have you done, how many customers have you helped not churn, and so like there was kind of a it was kind of relaxed and everything's good, everything's fine, so nobody was really scrutinizing everybody's activity or performance. But once it started becoming trendy to talk about how little you work in tech and how you're remote, I feel like we kind of gave away, we gave away our position. Whereas I wish we would have just kind of like
shut that on the low.
Yeah, just shut up about it. Like when I won't lie, like when I was at, doing software sales, especially up until 2020, I did 81 countries. I was in different countries and my company didn't know about it. I was, I was outside while working, but I also made sure that I was always hitting my numbers and I was always hitting my activity metrics, and I was always proactively understanding, how I'm going to get a deal done. So like my management was just like, I don't really care what you do. Just keep doing
produce.
But if I would have been on Instagram, like, yo, I'm in Tokyo, yo, I'm in, Morocco or whatever the case
messing up the game,
they would have been like, yeah, you're doing 180% of your number. But if you weren't in Morocco and Tokyo, you'd probably be at 3%. Like there would be like some resentment towards me, and there would be some scrutiny of like, not really focused, even if I had great numbers. So like before Clubhouse, I had no social media. Like I posted enough so people knew that I wasn't like, yeah, like I was a real person and I had a real life, but like I didn't post my personal stuff because I didn't want any employees seeing it. And then anybody second guessing like my interest or activity level. So that's another piece of advice, man. It's like your social media is important. Do not think that your employers aren't looking at it during the interview process. And if you're, constantly popping bottles and smoking hookah on your Instagram, like it can affect your brand internally, and just make sure it's private or your name's not attached. But yeah, I think they are weeding out the fat, because there were a lot of people that were lazy and just kind of like going through the motions and kind of doing the least. And now they're making sure that every person that comes in is producing. And so that's another reason why I don't like to do the whole, breaking the tech is easy 6 figures. Nothing's easy in 2024 anymore. Like you really got to like show and prove. And yeah, there's ways that you can automate your process to maybe work 20 hours a week, through, AI or, some other automation tools, but just don't tell anybody. Don't be bragging about your working 20 hours. Cause if you do, if it gets back to management, they're going to be like, okay, you're doing this in 20 hours. Imagine what you're doing in 40 hours. And they're going to start micromanaging you, checking your emails, all kinds of crazy stuff. So, I know I'm supposed to be hyping people up about tech, and I mean, tech is a great, a lot of money to be made. It's a very great career to have. I just want to mentally prepare people in this room in a way that I don't think others are, that you really have to, number one, be very intentional about the step you take to get in. And then when you get in, be very intentional about documenting all of your wins, all of your success, all of your results. So when it's like, Jarrett, what have you done the last 3 months? You can be like bullet points. I improved this by X%. I decreased the time it takes to do this by X%. I created this program that created this revenue. Like, you got to really always be documenting your stuff, not only just for your resume and for the future market, but internally for, when layoffs and rifts can happen, you can proactively put yourself above that rift line and not be affected. So ain't no free meals in tech in 2024, especially with AI taking away some of these jobs.
So it seems like social media messed up
the game.
And they fumbled the bag. They exposed the plug, and it's unfortunate, but that's the attention economy. You feel me? Like, people just wanted to flex, and a lot of those people that were flexing got laid off, and what they continue to do is flex because they were selling courses and they're affiliates to boot camps. So a lot of these, I'm not talking crap, but influencers, they're not in tech anymore, but they talk about tech all the time, and it's just I feel like it's a little misleading. I personally try not to be that guy, and I just try to talk about I talk to real people in tech, not the influencer types. But yeah, it's social media kind of ruined it.
Social media pretty much did that for mostly all industries: Airbnb, real estate, wholesaling.
Facts.
People get eyeballs, people get attention. They feed off of that, and not really what's actually going on in the business. But Jarrett, I got a question.
Yeah, man.
Which emerging technology do you believe will have the most impact in the next 5 to 10 years?
Obviously AI. If you can become an AI engineer, you will have a real high, demand. And then I would say cybersecurity.
What is cybersecurity for people who may not know?
Yeah, so I'll do it in the simplest way I can explain it. Cybersecurity is the methods and ability to prevent cyber attacks happening to your organizations or to entities or whatever the case is, or to even people, right? And so cyber attacks are just the ability to utilize technology to infiltrate data, to take over your system, to disable your systems, and sometimes to maybe drain your bank accounts. Sometimes it's done just to as a political reasons, to destabilize certain countries or destabilize certain industries. And so cyber threats are emerging internationally like crazy. Russia, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, China. And America is very much a target for these attacks. And these attacks can really affect the bottom line. It could result in millions, or in cases billions of dollars lost for organizations. And then if there's cyber attacks on data, so your sensitive data from a hospital or from a technology company or whatever the case is, or your financial institution, God forbid, is taken, they can take that and then basically identity theft and all kinds of things. So the cost to a company, if a cyber attack works, is so high that they're going to bring in people that have the ability to create basically defense systems or identify cyber threats before they become real. Kind of like missile detectors, you know what I'm saying? And you can be like a human missile detector. Cyber attacks are the missiles, and you have the knowledge to identify and stop it or create those defense mechanisms. And so if you have the skills to block cyber attacks or make sure things are secure, you're going to have a huge demand in this market, because the technology is only going to get more intense. And so I would say AI and then cybersecurity are the two where it's you're pretty much going to have a job if you really know what you're doing. And then in terms of emerging technologies, I would say those two ultimately. Yeah, I would just say those two ultimately. Those, and they're not even emerging. They've been around for a long time, but it's just like their importance is ratcheting up. I think software engineers are always going to be important too, even though there's now AI platforms that can do software engineering and coding. It won't necessarily, be the same as a human being's ability to be innovative and creative as an engineer. But I will say though, being a junior software engineering is a tough situation because there's so many experienced software engineers that are willing to take junior roles. So I really feel for the engineering crowd, the people that are like going coding boot camps and then trying to get that job, because it's like entry level jobs are asking for 3 to 5 years experience. And it's like, well, where's the entry level where I don't have. So yeah, I mean, I'll just caution y'all, like, software engineering wise, if you're gonna get into it, I would have a mentor that is in it, that can kind of navigate you tangibly around the hiring market, versus like trying to go at it by yourself. But anyways, cybersecurity, AI, those are the two for sure.
Real quick on that AI piece, because Apple just yesterday released their new, they just made an announcement about their new software, the iOS 18, and about how Apple Intelligence is going to be this new thing. What are your overall thoughts or feelings or even concerns about emerging AI technology? How do you feel about that?
So I guess my concern is, one, the taking away of jobs. Like, there's these things called AI agents that are emerging right now. So that's an emerging AI agents. And AI agents are basically able to ingest information, have real-time conversations based off of that information. And it hasn't happened yet, but I do feel like AI agents are going to take over customer service. They're going to take over level sales. So like, instead of having a human being send out emails to customers and take inbound calls or even do outbound calls, you can have AI agents basically listen to real agents and understand how to answer objections, understand how to write the emails. Then they can take information about the prospect and basically, like, in a chat GPT type of way, understand the right messaging to send to them, understand the right information to reference. Like, so I saw in your annual reports that you had a X% dip in this. Our solution can help increase that dip. Like, there's going to be AI that's going to be able to write those emails, schedule it out, send it, and people aren't even going to know it's AI. And then by the time they might figure it out, they're talking to me, a real person.
It's fire.
Yeah, it is fire. Like, shout out to Ruben Harris from Career Karma. He was doing basically connecting people to boot camps, and he saw the boot camp market starting to shift, and he was like, all right, focus on how AI can solve HR problems. And then it turned into how can AI just solve business problems. So like, our organization is talking to him about employing AI agents for things that, we might have outsourced to like Pakistan or something like that. Like, instead, let's outsource it to AI and let's do a comparison. So that's one thing that's scary to me. And that's why I chose to work at an AI company that helps people get jobs versus one that takes jobs. And then the other thing is, I'm always worried about privacy. Like, I saw in the Apple update, there's the ability to now record calls.
Yeah, that's crazy. Fuck that.
Like, I'm gonna be thinking, like, the feds are watching, and the feds are watching.
Like, what you say, little mama? What you say? What you say?
Exclusively on YouTube, my conversation with Jarrett. It's like, I mean, I get it. People could have recorded calls before, but for it to be as easy as it's gonna be now, scary. And then all of our calls, all of our texts, all of our inputs are now gonna be basically automatically ingested
in Apple.
Via Apple. And so it's gonna be cool because you're gonna be able to do some cool stuff via ChatGPT within Apple. It's gonna save us a lot of time. So like, I always say, like, AI can only replace you if you don't learn how to utilize AI. So like everybody should be taking like prompt engineering classes. You know, I have free resources. I have like posted on my Instagram broadcast channel. I'll do that later, but it's just like, if you learn AI, you'll be straight because you'll have competitive advantage. You'll be able to do things that take you 40 hours in like 10. And so you can take those other 30 hours and be more strategic. But I think it's just scary from the perspective of how these AI agents are going to be able to duplicate human activity and human production. AI software engineering, once that gets really good and they actually code as well as humans, that's going to be scary for the whole engineer market. I think cybersecurity is a little too nuanced for AI to just replace cybersecurity professionals, but I just do feel like AI is going to really start replacing a lot of industries, especially the ones that have lower strategy behind them. And then when it comes to Apple, like, I'm just worried about the privacy aspect. And there's certain things that I personally wouldn't put into ChatGPT. Like if I have a novel that I'm writing that I haven't released yet, like if I have ChatGPT write the novel, that's one thing. But if I've written an original novel or original concept and put in ChatGPT, I'm afraid how that concept could be disseminated in some way. It might not be like, here's Jarrett's novel, but just in some way, my originality, my IP may be distributed via it. So the fact that stuff that we do that's going to have our IP is going to be tracked by AI, it's a little concerning, but it just is what it is at this point. You just got to kind of like embrace the fact that you can only control what you can control. So my thing is control the amount of knowledge that you have around utilizing these technologies to make you more competitive in your space.
Man, with that phone recording stuff, incriminated a lot of people. Now they could probably use that shit in court. You better look at the terms and conditions.
Well, the good thing is it does prompt you and let you know that you're being recorded, though. That's the good thing.
That's cool. Yeah,
still
do it. But at the end of the day, yeah, I guess it's like Snapchat. You can see if somebody took the screenshots, blocked them. So.
Sound like you familiar with that, let me ask you this. So for they got a lot of people here that's interested in tech. What do you think is the top skills needed to actually get a job today? Because you said
be successful.
It's tough in the industry right now. So what do you think people should highly be focused on when it comes to skills?
Yeah, so honestly, number one, if you are trying to transition and check from another industry, focus on the tech that serves that industry. That's the easiest way to get in because you're already a subject matter expert in education or health care or marketing. So like if you are a marketing professional and you want to get into tech, look at marketing technology, go into technology that you're familiar with already. So if you're using Salesforce at an organization, maybe jump into Salesforce and be like, I've used Salesforce for the last 10 years. I understand this, that, and this. So that's number one. I think like utilize your industry experience and find technology that helps that industry so you can be a subject matter expert. That's one less thing to have to train you on that makes you less risky as a candidate. After that, I would also just look at your transferable skills. Like for me, it's not necessarily about only go for cyber or only go for engineering. Number one, go for something that you're actually like interested in and passionate about when it comes to the value that you can create. So I always tell people like go to Google or go to Apple or Amazon or go to your dream companies and just like study the job descriptions and study the job departments. So because you're going to see a lot of the time there's non-tech roles in tech that you can basically work at a Google and still be an accountant or a finance, an analyst or HR or sales or customer service, whatever the case is. So like, I just also want to keep it broader. Like you can get into tech companies and get the tech benefits without being technical. And so that's another way that you can get into tech without being technical. Now, if you want to be technical, I would say, again, look at the job descriptions. Go to tech conferences and meet people doing different roles and just ask them like, what's the day in your life like? if you don't mind me asking, what has your money progress been like throughout your career? Where'd you start and where'd you go? Because in order to get to a certain place, you got to know, like, where's the destination. A ship with no destination is going to veer off anywhere. And if you veer off all over the place, you're not going to be an attractive candidate. They want a candidate that's locked in and going deep into a subject. So, like, at the end of the day, like, it really doesn't matter what role in tech you want to get into. Just really be deep into the subject. And so how you get deep into the subject is you go to the job description and you go straight to the minimum requirements. And so it's going to tell you, for a technical example, like, we need you to know JavaScript, SQL, C++, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So instead of getting certifications that are just random and all over the place, you only focus on those certifications. And so one place that I recommend people, like, dip their toe in the water for free is a site called classcentral.com. So class, like you're in Class Central, like central.com. They have like over 300,000 courses, and you can just search by keyword. And then some are free, some are not. But I would dip your toe in the water with the free ones and just, like, go through the material and be like, could I really do this on a day-to-day basis? Because the reason why I don't just tell people, like, here are your top skills is I really want people to actually find a career that they like, that they're passionate about, that they're interested in. And that's why I say, like, find something in your industry, find something that you find fascinating. So, like, if you're going to be software engineering, just see what type of languages are being requested the most. When it comes to cybersecurity, I would join things like Black Cybersecurity Association. Basically, just like, one, take advantage of their resources, but also talk to people about what is your life like, what is your career progression been like, what is your stability like, and then reverse engineer the type of experience that they had to have to get there. If you're a UI UX, basically check out some of the top UI UX people's GitHubs, see the type of portfolios that they built. So, like, I'm going to this conference called Render ATL. If you're in the Atlanta area, I highly recommend, if you can at least if you can get there, it's going to be really good, very technical.
What's the conference about?
Yeah, it's basically a conference more focused on, like, Black. All races can go, but it's really, it's a Black like engineering, software engineering, technical roles, cybersecurity, data science, things of that nature. And so, but it's also a turn up. Like, at night, it's going to be turn up. Everybody's having a good time. Shout out to the founder, Justin Samuels, for creating, like, a very authentically Black, fun tech environment. But it's really actually, like, we're doing workshops where we get deep dive into these subjects and these topics. And so, like, conferences like that, Black is Tech, Blacks in Technology Conference, Black Men in Tech, BaddieCon, which is like Baddies in Tech Conference. BaddieCon, yeah, I'll be there.
Shout out to the turn up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, turn up with people that are really intentional about their careers, they're doing well, and find out what they're doing and reverse engineer it, because there's so many avenues to get into tech. I would say, like, data science is a good one too, because analytics and data is key. So all they're ingesting from us, how do we interpret it to help businesses predict where things should go, et cetera. So, and then sales, like, at the end of the day, AI agents may disrupt the SDR market, and that's an entry-level role, and I hate that for SDRs. But in terms of, like, enterprise sales, where you got to, like, meet with executives, take them out to lunch, take them golfing, take them to dinners, and really, like, ask them the questions and have that human relationship of negotiating.
AI can't do that.
Can't do that. And if a company wants to grow in revenue, they have to be good salespeople. They have to be good salespeople there that can identify the, ideal customer profile, get them interested, and basically drive them through a sales cycle and produce revenue. And so if you are looking to get into tech sales, my recommendation is I think Course Careers is a good one. I have a link that I can provide people, but I mean, and the reason why I like Course Careers is because not only do they teach you like the vernacular of software sales, but they also have a placement program where like organizations like Salesforce and other organizations that are hiring, they like Course Careers graduates, so they went straight to Course Careers and be like, hey, I like to be able to cherry pick your graduates. So I'm a big advocate of any programs that have a placement department, because it just decreases the risk of you doing all of that work and spending that money and not getting a job. But if you are going to work in tech sales, I recommend going after like Series A, Series B, Series C startups, because those are startups that have shown that they have a disruptive product that is basically growing, and to the point where a A16Z or some big VC just threw 10 million, 20 million, $30 million at them. And if they're throwing that money at them, they're throwing it at them because they see growth potential. And as soon as they get that money, they're going to hire salespeople to basically drive that growth. And so, I want to go to places that are growing fast, not places that are kind of like the big behemoths that could potentially, go away. So actually, let me throw my link in the chat real quick.
It's funny you mentioned that, Jared, because and you know what, before I even say that, I want to kind of do a recap of what you said. It sounds like sales is always going to get you in the door, right? So that's number one. Any industry. We talk a lot about sales, and listen, to me, sales is $1 million producing skill, right? It's $1 million. Because if you think about it, even what we're doing here, right, in order to grow an audience, we're selling you right now on why you should be listening to No Stingy Energy, right? That a lot of people, we look at sales as just transactional, in the sense to where you buy something from me. No, you're going to be dealing with sales and leadership, right? In order to get people to buy into your vision, that's sales, right? And so I just want to highlight the importance of sales. Number one. Then the other thing I heard was cybersecurity. It sounds like cybersecurity is going to be something that's going to be around for a long time, because businesses are always, they're going to always want to protect their interests, right? And as technology increases, the amount of people willing to do bad things to disrupt companies is going to increase, right? So as a result of that, you're always going to be safe. It was another couple of industries that he mentioned. One was software engineering. Now, what he said was, and I hope everybody picked up on this, is that software engineering will ultimately be replaced by AI. But here's the key. If we learn more about AI, right, and learn how to software engineer with AI and maybe become a profession or really good at creating software with AI, what does that do to our overall value? So these are some of the things that I'm picking up, and Jarrett, please jump in if I'm missing something in this piece. But yeah, so I just want to add that in there just so people can kind of get a little bit of a recap as to where they need to be focusing a lot of their energy, or telling their children or telling their loved ones, hey, look, if you want to get to a quick 6 figures, and maybe not a quick 6 figures, but if you want to get to a 6-figure paying income, this is where you need to go,
Well, what I like about this is, everybody wants a good job, right? So they have other opportunities. You don't have to go to college. You can go to Course Careers. You can go to, was it Class Central?
Yeah.
You can go to
Class Central. Google. Google got a couple of classes.
You can get you some certifications. I don't know. I guess it's between 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever. But you can do that and go find you a decent job. Like, college isn't the only route to go make some money. And a lot of people think, I don't have a college degree, I can't get that job. But it seems like more employers are looking for people that actually have skills than degrees. Because skills is what actually produce income, not just having a degree.
Facts.
Is Jarrett still with us? All right. Ruby, if you can go back to like where they were showing that money, how much these jobs are paying. That's the part I like.
Yes, indeed.
Cause they got some nice jobs. I seen $70,000 a year. I seen $100,000 a year. All right, there you go. Technology sales, starting salary $70K a year. And then they tell you what skills that you need. Strategic thinker, driven, persuasive, resilient, and self-starter.
We got Jarrett back.
They even show you the time it takes to learn. 4 to 12
Yeah.
weeks, 16 to 40 weeks. You back with us, Jarrett?
Yeah.
Does these starting salaries look correct to you, or it could be more than that?
I think he frozen.
Nah, he ain't frozen.
Oh. Maybe it's me. Okay, I see it now. We can hear you. We can hear you, Jarrett. Uh-oh.
Maybe you can't see us. So what's your thoughts about this, Byron?
I think, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, I think just like any other industry, right? You want to get into it. You want to dominate where you can, but ultimately you want to find out where the opportunities are. And I think that's the hardest part about tech. Yeah, we hear you, Jarrett.
All right. I think we're good now. All right. Bet. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So real quick, Jarrett, since you're back, we were just discussing where those opportunities are. You kind of laid out where those opportunities are and what some of the things people need to be looking into. But let's dive a little bit more specific on that, because, I know, at least this is what I've heard, right? And you correct me if I'm wrong, that it's kind of like a wild, wild west side of tech, right? Because you never know which skill is going to be in massive demand at any given time. It's kind of like a luck thing. But can you give people, I guess, if they're looking to make that next six figures in tech, where are some of those areas that they need to focus on, where I'm not going to say it's guaranteed, right? Because nothing is guaranteed, but they can get closer to hitting those six-figure marks right out the gate if they become extremely proficient in the skill, take those courses, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I definitely think cybersecurity, cybersecurity for sure. And then the thing about sales that I like is that it's got commission aspect to it. So you might not make six figures base out the gate, but finding the commission plans that basically allow you to double your salary based off of hitting 100% of your goal, they call that on target earnings. So the reason why I like sales is because you can basically dictate your W-2 based off of your effort and your results. Whereas a lot of roles, you just got the salary that you're going to get. But yeah, I would say like software engineering as well, you can make some serious money. I mean, there's some roles at Netflix where you're making like $500,000 base salary. The salary ranges are kind of crazy in software engineering. Like if you're really good at creating non-buggy code, then you can really make a lot of money there. And then I would say software engineering, cybersecurity, tech sales. Those are the three that I really say like you can make that bread. UI, UX, as you move up, you can make some pretty good bread too, especially if you have a portfolio of some really great designs. But like the key thing though is you're not just gonna like roll out of bed and make six figures in tech. You really gotta be passionately good at what you do. You probably should enjoy doing it even if you didn't get paid. Like if you're that approach to it and you can like really show your passion for something, you're gonna do well. I wouldn't do something that you hate. Like I would hate being a coder and staring at numbers all day. Like, but I enjoy, shaking hands and meeting people. So do things that really fit with your personality. But yeah, Course Careers, my link that I put, it gets you $50 off. It'll just save you a little bit of money. But you can also do a free trial. So you can do the free trial first, so you can dip your toe in the water and see if Course Careers make sense for you, or if it's something that you're interested in. And you can try out all the different types of, roles that are in there. I think the tech sales course is pretty good. And it's affordable, $499 compared to $5,000 and $10,000 boot camp. I really wouldn't want to push people towards that amount of investment at this point in the economy. But yeah, check it out. I think that they have a good placement program. Scrum Master is a good role, but I do feel like AI has the potential of replacing project managers to a certain extent. Like the human element of it is going to be important, but I feel like AI is going to make it to where anybody can project plan. Like ChatGPT, write me this project plan and blah, blah, blah. I send it out. So it's going to create some sort of redundancy, because a lot of the output that project management is like specialized in doing, AI might be able to do that. So, and then it's kind of oversaturated market. So what areas where I think are tough to get into, project management is getting a little oversaturated in my opinion. But if you have the relationships and the connections, you'll be good wherever. What's it called? Customer success, which is basically after I make a sale, customer success works with the account to get them to proficiency with the tool and then getting ROI with the tool. Everybody and their mama is applying to that role because it takes no technical experience and it does pay well, but everybody's trying to get in there. So customer success, I would say, like, just know it's going to be a hard battle to get that role. And cybersecurity, I saw a question, you don't have to go to college. No, you don't have to go to college for cybersecurity. You can absolutely take a cybersecurity like boot camp or course. I wish, what I tried to do before is like grab a link and put in the chat, and it threw me off StreamYard. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out a way to like put links in the chat. But
you gotta go put in the private chat, and then we can post.
Yeah, and then we can put it in there.
Perfect. But ultimately, like,
You dropped your LinkedIn. We got
if you guys go to my Instagram, Dr. J, and let me go into a private room so I'm not being too loud and outside. If you go to my Instagram, Dr. J, I have a broadcast channel. And so everything that I'm talking about, I'll throw it in the broadcast channel. So there's like 10 free cybersecurity courses that you can just dip your toe in the water into and at least learn about the different areas of cybersecurity and like how they pay, what makes them different. Because it's not just cybersecurity. There's cybersecurity analyst, SOC analyst, engineer. Like there's so many different nuances of cybersecurity. And then when it comes to AI, like I have a bunch of free prompt engineering courses that I can post on Instagram as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go crazy in my broadcast channel. So DOCTAJ. Just check out my broadcast channel on Instagram, follow me there, and then I'm gonna go crazy with all these resources that I'm talking about. And also, if you are here because I promoted this space, make sure that you're subscribed to No Stingy Energy. This is a really great show, so just make sure you're tapped in for all kinds of things, real estate, etc. But yeah. And then, but if you take some courses and classes to get a certificate, it seems to be a way cheaper way. We try to get our son on with no debt. Yeah, like Class Central, that resource that I talked about before, that's a good way to get some free courses. So I'm all about getting free courses and free information. So if you throw up Class Central on the screen, basically you'll see that they have courses from Google, Amazon. They got courses from, like Find Your Next Course. Let me see, make that bigger for me. Yeah, like they have courses on all different kind of things. But if you just search in the keyword section, like cybersecurity, like search cybersecurity in the keyword section. Yeah, like you're going to see 41 systems here, Cyber Mentor, the Cyber Academy, etc. You'll also see that there are courses from universities like MIT, Stanford. You'll see free courses from Google, Amazon, Microsoft. So, I mean, I'm all about free. Like, I think Course Careers is solid because of the placement program. So if you want placement after taking the course Careers. But if you just want to just like kind of dip your toe in the water and just kind of like take a course to see, is this interesting to me, whatever the case is, go to Class Central. And then if you scroll up a little bit and you go back to the main page. All right. Go off out of the search. You'll see free certificates. Click on free certificates. So if you want to get straight to the free stuff, click there. Which, as you can see, you see Stanford, Google, MIT, all different kinds of courses there.
This is so dope.
But free certificates, just go there and go crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Are they beneficial? Are the free certificates beneficial, like when applying for a job?
Absolutely, yeah. You can add them to your resume, and then when they ask you questions about certain terms or familiarity, you can just say, "Yeah, I took this Google course, I took this Microsoft course, I took this Cisco course." Also, what's cool is a lot of companies are now basically creating their own boot camps that you can take. That some are free, some may have a cost to them, but they're basically like kind of like the precursors to applying and interviewing, but a lot of people don't know about them. So if you took the course and you're like, yeah, I took the course that you offered on Trailblazer for Salesforce or whatever the case is, that shows that you have a certain amount of initiative. You are like somebody that researched and found the information, and then you have the information to apply to the role. You're less risky, you're more attractive. I can post some of those as well in my Instagram channel as well, because apprenticeships are also becoming a thing. So that's another good way to get into a role, is to like apply for apprenticeships within some of these bigger companies.
Man, this is jam-packed full of information. Listen, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, please take your time and do that right now, because we got a lot more value to drop. Listen, hit the like button. Jarrett has went absolutely crazy. Make sure you're following Jarrett. Jarrett, where can they follow you on Instagram if they need to? And if you don't mind, if you could put that in the back chat, we'll go ahead and add that to the main chat. So people can follow you, because a couple of people have been asking about, your Instagram
and LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get to the back chat.
I think it's the only chat.
Yeah.
It's okay, Jarrett. I got you. I just dropped the link.
Perfect.
You're on it. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And then on YouTube, I have a channel, Big Tech Energy Podcast. So you just search Big Tech Energy, and we'd love for you to subscribe there. But Instagram, Dr. J, DOCTHA. And then, those are the main things. And then you can find me on LinkedIn. I definitely share resources on LinkedIn. Just put my name in and you'll see a great picture with my smile, and that, go ahead and connect with me. Don't follow me, connect with me.
We got a couple more questions, though. I just wanted to kind of get that out because a couple people was asking about that. So real quick, how important is it to have like continuous learning and upskilling in the tech field? Like, so is that it? Can you ever really just kind of relax, or you're always going to be taking courses, always going to getting certifications? How does that work?
Yeah, no, you should always be learning the emerging technologies, also the systems that can assist you. So like the AI platforms that can basically help you write your emails, help you create project plans, help you create presentations, help you create visuals. Like, you should always be learning, especially in AI. You should always be Oh yeah, let me drop another gem on you. And feel free to put this on the
We
screen.
like gems.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
GPTE.ai. So GPTE.ai, similar to Class Central, it's a repository of all of the best AI tools that are out there, and then it has a search bar that you can search by keyword. So like if I was in your shoes, as I am in your shoes, I would look into that website and then like go into where's this? There should be a search bar somewhere.
Top
Yes,
right.
bar,
This
and
is
then
beautiful.
just type in anything. Type in real estate. I'm just curious what comes up.
Oh,
Real estate.
let's get spicy,
Keep
man.
combining our industries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you spelled that joker wrong. That's cool.
All right. Let's see, and then go down. Go down. Let's see, or actually go to tools. Go to tools. Yeah, and then let's see what's in that drop down, and then hover over it. The tools section. Oh yeah, and then search right below, and then search like real estate there. So they got real estate descriptions, AI, virtual house flip. Yeah, so like create real estate brochures in seconds, you know? So like if you're a real estate agent and it took you hours, days, a week to create a real estate brochure, like play around with this, do a free trial.
Wow, bro, this is beautiful.
Right? So like any industry, you can search and find AI that's going to save you hours, days,
oh my God.
weeks.
Boy,
And
I wonder if it export to Canva.
yeah, you would have paid somebody to do this. You can just do
This
it.
is crazy.
putting people out of business.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing. But you know what? You're going to stay in business if you're constantly utilizing these things to save you money and to make
And time.
and time. Time is money. So, yeah, I mean, you always have to be upskilling. So, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. You could be a damn truck driver. I'm sure there's some AI that's gonna like save you time. So, GPTE.ai, definitely mess with it. Virtual house flip.
That is
That's fire.
crazy.
Yeah, man. And these things aren't that expensive. They aren't that expensive, you know what I'm saying, to utilize. So
Virtual house flip fire.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, what's kind of like the entry level pay for these entry level jobs? What's your thoughts about that?
I mean, I would think like entry level, I would expect 70 to 80,000.
It's not bad.
Yeah, 70 to 80,000 for the most part. But some roles you might be able to get six figures out the gate, but I just try to temper people's expectations and say like 70 or 80 out the gate. But what I would do is when you talk to a hiring manager and they ask, what questions do you have for me? My question would be, all right, my goal is to get to this role. Like, I know I have to start here, but I want to get to this role. You can find it in the job description, and you also can see how much they're getting paid. So you're like, I want to get to this role. What are the things that I need to do to get there? And what is the timeline that is realistic for me to get there? Based off of how others have gotten there, or talk to the person that is in that role and be like, how to get there. But always have a strategy of how you're going to get there to that six-figure base, to that big money. Like if I was an engineer, I would be DMing the engineers that are making $500,000 and being like, what are the things that you would tell me to do to accelerate my path to where you are? And then they would give you the straight, actual information of study this language, create this portfolio, get experience doing this, read this book, so that's why I'm a huge proponent of tech conferences. Tech courses are great, but building relationships with people that are already where you want to be, that can save you time. That's where the real gems are. And if they can refer you into organizations or refer you to other hiring managers, or you're in a room full of hiring managers, it's like, that's where it's at. So like, just don't be somebody that takes courses and don't go outside. Like, go outside. And then if you are at like Render, for instance, example, and what's it called? Swag surf goes on. Like, you'll be swag surfing next to a software engineer at Spotify and UI UX manager at Google. And then when you're off the dance floor, be like, yo, let's not talk business right now, but I want to connect with you on LinkedIn and learn more about you. Now they're going to remember, doing electric slide with you.
That is hilarious.
And they're going to be like, I like this person.
The electric slide can go a long way.
Yeah, I want more her at our company because I'm tired of these people that don't know how to swag surf. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get outside. So I definitely will include a link of all the top Black Tech conferences, or I'll try to send it in the chat. I don't know why, but
what I like about the tech conferences, and I want to kind of dive deeper on that too, is that I'm pretty sure, right? Number one, you get to get around your peers, but how open are people with sharing, income? Like, how much they getting paid in this particular position and how much you can get paid if I can pull you over to this particular job, right? How open are they in those conversations, or is that more closed off and taboo to talk about pay?
Nah.
Seems like it's open.
Very open. Extremely
nice.
Open. Now, me personally, I don't talk about, I have talked about it on like Salary Transparent Street and stuff like that. But for the most part, like, I don't just proactively talk about the money that I've made, but I will tell you what's possible. And then you can maybe infer whatever you want to infer from that. But when it comes to actual just in-person conversations at tech conferences, people are willing to be open and they're not braggadocious about it. They're not going to just be like, hey, I'm making this much money, but they're going to answer it if you ask. So yeah, they'll be very honest about it. And, then from there, it's just like, how long did it take you to get there? And what were the steps and promotions that you had to do to get there? And they'll walk you through it. I would say, like, in terms of energy, Black Tech conferences are this energy where it's like, all right, we're here for 3 days. It's us. We're equally yoked. We have an equal mindset. We have equal goals. So whether I am here and you're here, I'm going to try to get you up here with me. Like, that's the energy of the conferences. So the people that actually are getting to the bag and have experience, in my personal experience, they're not necessarily like brushing off people that are trying to get in. They're more so like giving game and being very open about, here's what worked, and send me your resume. I'll send it to this hiring manager. Also career expos at these type conferences. So the companies that actually like set up booths and bring out recruiters, those are companies that still believe in DEI. So those are the ones that you really want to be in front of, and they want to be able to say, like, I came to Afrotech and we invested $50,000 in a booth and we got 100 quality candidates and we hired 20 of them, so that when they look at the $50,000 spend, it's like, yeah, but we increased our representation through this conference, and it was a good investment. Like, they want to look good. Nobody's going to go to a tech conference and spend all that money not to hire anybody, for the most part, like, especially the smaller niche ones. Afrotech, maybe they're there just because they want to have a presence, but still, Afrotech is still a good one to attend. But like a Render or a Black Men in Tech or like a BattyCon, if you see recruiters there, they want to leave with something. They want to leave hiring somebody. So those are the places that you want to be. And what I recommend is, like, before you go to the tech conference, look at the sponsors, because the sponsors are like at the expo hiring. Then go to the career page and find the role you're a good fit for. Then create a resume specifically for that job description and maybe print it out, or maybe via email, or even be fancy barcode. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a lot of game right there.
Be intentional.
Like, and so, like, for me, If I was looking for a job, text giving. I love text giving in DC. Shout out to them. Yeah, I have a whole like website. I'm afraid if I leave here and I try to put in the chat, it's gonna mess up. Sorry. So like I'm being careful, but ultimately though, like
we'll send it out on email.
Yeah,
put together email, send it out to everybody.
Yeah. I'll send you everything I got. Basically, look at all the companies and then find where they have the role that you want to be hired for, and then from there, go to each one and be like, hey, I was looking at your career page. I saw this UI UX role in Los Angeles. I'm a great fit. Is the person responsible for sourcing that role or hiring that role at the booth? And then they'll be like, you know what? They are. Kathy, come over. We got you one. And then Kathy's like, you're interested in my role? Yes. And here's a little bit about me. Here's my experience. Da 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 da. So like, and now instead of going up there being like, tell me more about your company, or are you hiring for UI UX, or whatever the case is.
You already know all that.
I did my research. I know what I want. And now when they like actually review the resumes from the conference, they're probably going to write a note on your resume being like, okay, this person really wants it, and hiring manager, they're looking for your role. So that's my advice, is like, be very intentional. Then also look at the speakers and say like, all right, who are the speakers that are at the companies that I want to work at? And, after they walk off the stage, stand by the stage and introduce yourself. Be like, hey, I'm Jarrett. I love what you had to say on stage. I was really inspired, especially by your story of how you went through that adversity and you overcame it. I'm currently in the job search. I'm looking to actually work at your organization. I found this specific role. And I was wondering, do you get paid for referrals? They'll be like, nah, I don't, or yeah, I do, or whatever the case is. And then, can I get a referral? So yeah, this right here, what's funny? Like, I never promote this book, but this is a ebook that I wrote just on how to, my perspective on, how I, got into the space. But I believe, yeah, I don't even know if my stripe's still attached to this, to be honest. But yeah, like this, I think it's free, honestly. It says $27, but I think it's free. But yeah, jarrettaldbritton.com. But maybe there's a cost to it now. I don't know. I never promote this book anymore. But just because, I just didn't really get into it. Yeah.
We got a couple questions, man. It's some great questions, by the way. I know Bam put in the chat. He says, if you were 18 and wanted to get into the cybersecurity, where would you start?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna see if I can grab these links and then send it to you. Nah, I can't find the chat section, so I don't even know how to chat it to you. But there's some.
Is the links located on your Instagram? Where are the links located?
Oh, they kicked his ass up.
Yeah.
Sensitive.
I'm pulling it from his Instagram, his website, and the links he has on his YouTube channel. Okay. So I'm dropping all the links. But yeah, we can play the commercial anytime, y'all.
Running now.
Run the play.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the show. Make sure before you leave, you go on nostingyenergy.com. Grab yourself some gear, man. No Stingy Energy gear is quality material. Good material. Is not the hard cotton material. Is a quality material. And make sure you get your jogging sets. You can get your hoodie, a t-shirt. Just grab you something, man. nostingyenergy.com. Hey, so often people ask me how to get in real estate, how to get started in real estate. Look, I have a mentorship group. I have live classes that I usually teach. It's usually from an hour to 2 hours, depending on the subject we're talking about. I teach from 12 weeks to 15 weeks. All right. If you're interested in my mentorship, text wealth to this number right here, and I'll send you the link directly to the website. If you're looking to go to the next level, I got you. The classes are live. You can ask any question you want. I'm here for you. And I'll see you on the inside. Peace.
Yes, indeed. So we had another question that came through that I thought was an excellent question. And it says, is it still worth trying to get into tech with all of the layoffs that's taken place in the last couple of years?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
That's a phenomenal question.
Phenomenal. I want to know. Toy says, is it still worth it trying to get into tech with all of the layoffs that's taken place in the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's still worth it. I would just say be careful of big companies like Amazon and Meta and Google, and like just look at who's been doing the layoffs. So just look at who's been doing the layoffs, and I would just be wary about joining those companies. And it's not because they're bad companies. It's just because they can hire at a high rate and then they can let go at a high rate. And it's their way of kind of like constantly elevating their talent. It's like, let's just hire all these people.
Take the best out of
the best.
And then let's get rid of all the sucky people. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to like, and so you could just get like, caught up in that sucky.
Yeah.
At a startup, I like those more. So there's a website called wellfound.com that have startup companies that are hiring, that have that Series A, Series B, Series C funding. So it's like they're in growth mode. And obviously the thing is, like, it's worth it to get into tech if you are passionate about what you're doing. If you're getting into tech to make money, for the status, for the look, it's going to end up showing in your work. But if you are somebody that like puts in extra hours because you love doing it, you're gonna do have a great success. And for those that asked about the cybersecurity, where you would start, I just posted like 8 free cybersecurity resources in my broadcast channel on Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram, you go to my broadcast channel, you'll find all of that. But WellFound has a lot of great startup roles. They used to be called Angel List. So definitely check that out. You have to create an account to be able to see everything, unfortunately. But that's definitely a good one to utilize. But I would go after startups. Number one, also equity as well. So equity, you vested year, you can vest your entire amount of shares after 4 years. And once the company goes public or gets acquired, it can turn into a really big check as well. Whereas if you go after these bigger, more established companies, you do not have the same opportunity.
I got a question, man.
Yeah.
Got a question. I don't want us to skip over it, even though we mentioned it a lot of times. I think the audience, I don't think they really take it serious. But can you talk about how serious the networking is? Because you mentioned it at events. You mentioned it on LinkedIn. You mentioned it when you see people, talk to them, let them know what you do. You talked about looking at who's going to the events and going to these events. Like, talk about how important the networking piece is, because basically networking is what gets you where you want to go. That's what it sounds like you're saying. Yeah,
man, 100%. Like go to renderatl.com, because I'll be going to this one coming up. So I'm just going to promote them. Plus they hooked me up. So I'm going to hook them up with some promotion. But like, if you go to their site and you see the schedule. So, first off, like I said, go to like speakers, right? Yeah, go to the speakers. So you got senior platform engineer at etc. If you scroll up a little bit, yeah. So just look at the people and go to their titles. So head of developer relations, VP product marketing at Zillow. You got founder of Design System University, VP of product at Vercel. And these are like the top ones. If you view more speakers, you got founder of Course Careers. I think scroll up a little bit. No, Como Courses, got it. But anyways, so like, what I like about this conference too is it's not just focused on Black speakers. It's focused on people that are really getting it, whether they're Black or whatever. But like, to be able to get gems from these people, but then come up to them and speak to them, that's cool. But what's even cooler is networking laterally. So networking with people that are in the same position as you, that will be rising up the ranks with you over time. That's important. Or, you know, networking with people that are a little bit ahead of you, not crazy ahead of you. They at least can tell you, like, here's what I studied to get my role. Here's what here's the portfolio I created to get my role. You know, here's the interview questions that you're probably going to be asked. You also have to submit your resume area within these conferences so that recruiters are able to see it. But ultimately, it's about, you know, driving up your LinkedIn so that you can also have that first degree connection when you apply for roles. Like, they actually look at that. When you apply for a role, a recruiter can see how many people are you first degree connected to at their organization. And that kind of puts you up another notch as well. So like, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, you'll be connected to like basically all the recruiters. So I wouldn't follow me on LinkedIn. I would connect with me. But the basically, long story short, your network is everything. Your network is what's going to help you when you get a layoff. Your network is going to help you in terms of referring you into the role, so you can skip the applicant tracking system and get straight to the hiring manager. Your network is going to be able to put you on to the resources that help them. Or they might be like, yo, I still have this course I spent $3,000 on. I'll give you the login. Go crazy. Like, you never know what people can do for you. But here's what I would recommend is that when you go to networking events, don't run around asking people, how can you help me? What I would do first is say, hey, I'm Jarrett. You know, excited to meet you. Just curious, what do you do and how can I support you? And just lead with that with everybody you meet. Even if you are like no experience in tech and you got $5 to your name, it doesn't freaking matter. Just ask that question, because nobody gets asked that question. And so you're going to really stand out in terms of all the people that they meet that are just constantly like with their hand out asking for, can I get help? Can you mentor me? Whatever. And it gets draining to just always being asked for stuff, right? But when somebody just comes up to you and be like, what do you do and how can I support? Like, they'll tell you what they do. Like, yeah, I'm a VP of engineering at Google, but how can you support? I have a podcast that I do as a passion project. I'd love for you to subscribe and share it with your people. And that costs you nothing. You know what I'm saying? But like, the fact that you're willing to support them, they're going to ask you more than likely, and what do you do? And how can I support? Well, I am actually been a preschool teacher, but I'm actually taking a course to become like you, engineer. I actually found a role in your organization that I really want to apply to. And, you know, how you can help, any advice, any feedback. And if you're open to be a referral, that'd be amazing. They're going to be way more receptive to helping you because you led with, how can you help? Right. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you lead with the energy of being of value to people, you will have way more success. And then if you do research on the people that will be there, or the companies that'll be there, then you will be much more targeted with your approach and you'll be more prepared. And like, failure to prepare is preparing to fail. So I just say, come into these conferences prepared and like spend every second, you know, asking people, how can you bring value to them, connecting with them on LinkedIn, you know, exchanging, you know, digital business cards, and, you know, make sure that you actually document everybody you met with and follow up with them accordingly. Great meeting with you, you know, had fun, you know, swag surfing on Thursday night. Would love to, you know,
Surf some more.
Let's surf some more. Yeah. At your you know, holiday party as an employee, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the thing. It's very, very important. It's more important than honestly what you know, in my opinion. A person that is the worst coder will get a job because they know somebody at the company. It just is what it is.
That's how I go. You're on mute, Brian.
I just want to highlight something real quick. Number one, that this has been an amazing amount of No Stingy Energy on display. So I just want to point that out just real quick. Listen, the amount of gems that you guys have picked up today literally can
crazy.
change lives. Like literally, like can change lives, can break generational curses.
Change your
That's what
pocket.
this show is all about. It's about producing content that literally can shift entire family dynamics from a financial and a knowledge perspective. But I want to highlight, we got a fire round, Jarrett, if you don't mind, of some very valuable questions that I think everybody in here is going to be able to really, really glean a lot of great insight from. So I want to just pop them off real quick. And if we can get these answered, that'd be phenomenal. So real quick, what financial opportunities exist for tech entrepreneurs in the space, in your opinion?
I will be very honest. It's rough out here. Getting funding is rough out here. Black founders, and then the DEI, attack on DEI, and the way that there's Supreme Court rulings that, I forget the name of that VC firm, but it's a Black woman-led VC firm that it basically provides investments for Black women. Fearless Fund, I believe that's what it is. They just got shot down for, their ability to just support Black women. It's a crazy, crazy hard market to raise funding right now. So I'll just say this. If you are a tech entrepreneur, Black tech entrepreneur, whatever tech entrepreneur, don't think that you're going to be able to just raise capital before you actually start producing revenue. So you need to create a platform or product that you can start producing revenue in, and showing that it is a viable product that people are interested in buying, companies are interested in buying. You got to be an entrepreneur that's ready to say, swipe your credit card and get people to buy. If you don't have that, it's going to be impossible to get funding. But in terms of tech entrepreneurship, if you can figure out ideas of how to integrate AI into an industry you're already familiar with, for instance, when we went on GPTE.ai and we saw that what's called virtual flipbook or something, I think it was called. If you can connect with an AI engineer and then use your expertise and say, hey, how can we build this together? And then I know who to market it to, et cetera. That's a very low-hanging fruit way to do it, because GPT is pretty open. I guess that's why I call it open AI, because it can be openly sourced and integrated into a lot of different technologies. So that's a good way for a tech person to kind of jump in the door. If you are a UI UX designer, you can create UI UX services. If you're a cybersecurity engineer, you can do cybersecurity consulting to small businesses. So yeah, I mean, honestly, tech entrepreneurship, I'm just gonna be honest, it's rough out here. So you got to have something that's disruptive, intentional, and it needs to be able to produce revenue out the gate before an investor is going to put money behind it. So yeah, that's my kind of keep it real answer. It's tough out here. So
we like the realness, man. We like the realness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What sectors of tech is currently booming at the moment? Is it strictly AI or some other things?
Let's see. Cloud. So basically what the cloud is, because I'm not going to assume everybody knows what the cloud is. It's basically when you can store basically it's where an organization like an Amazon, a Google, a Microsoft, or whoever has a bunch of servers, and they run the uptime on them, they secure them. And so instead of you managing your own servers, which is expensive and risky, you can outsource it to a company to hold your data. And so you can meet all of the different ISOs and security protocols, et cetera, that businesses need to have in order to ensure to customers you can protect the data. So if you know how to manage cloud storage or have any skills around the cloud, that's very popular, because before it was all about owning servers, mainframes, housing them in your own data centers. Now everybody puts their information in the cloud, especially SaaS platforms, which are software as a service. So software as a service is also very popular, because decreases the amount of ownership needed from a customer. Instead, they just turn on a license, put in a login, and they have access to a software, no implementing it, all that jazz. So software as a service is very lucrative. And in sales, software as a service sales is also very lucrative. But I would say the cloud is booming, software as a service. In terms of companies, like even though their stock went down, I think Salesforce is a great place to start your career. And then there's so many companies that use Salesforce. So if you can be a Salesforce administrator or somebody that can implement Salesforce, that can have value not only as your own personal business or joining a, Salesforce channel partner or Salesforce service provider, or just joining Salesforce, the company. So, and then from a technical standpoint, Salesforce is one of the easiest things to pick up. So I think that's booming. I would say database is boring, but it's lucrative and it's going to be around. Yes, I'll keep beating the dead horse, man. Cybersecurity, in my opinion, the demand's never going to go down. It's always going to go up because the threats are going to go up. Threats are going to get more dangerous. AI is going to make cybersecurity attackers more dangerous. And so people that can really be subject matter experts in that space are always going to be employed and always have a job. And then, tech sales. If you have sales experience already, I would go to these tech conferences and be like, I found this role, here, can you submit my resume? And then once your resume is submitted, you start interviewing, reach out to the rep that appears to have the highest amount of accolades on the team, and just be like, if I were to get this job, what are the things that I would need to do in order to overachieve quota in the way that you did? Or if SDR, like find the SDR that seems to be popping their stuff on LinkedIn the most on that team, and say, look, like, how would I get on? And then when in the interview, I'd be like, I did my research and I talked to Jarrett. And, the reason he stuck out to me is because I saw on his rewards, he has been, over quota for the last 3 quarters. And I just did an informal interview with him about what he did to be successful. And what he told me was X, Y, Z, this and that. And so if I were to start the role, I would do that. Plus, I would continuously be mentored by the folks that are doing extremely well, so it could speed up my path to success, but more importantly, help support the team, the goals, etc. You do that, the recruiters and hiring managers can be like, dang, he's different. Like he's super intentional. He's really passionate, and he knows what is needed to make something happen. Let's hire him. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that are proactive win, and the more proactive you can be, the better. So the less questions you have to ask to get to the answer, the better. So if you're able to say, I did my research, I understand 80% of it, can you help me with the 20%? You're much easier to help than somebody's like, what do I do?
Give me everything.
How do I start?
It's
how
a
do I break?
perfect.
If you ask me that question, I'm like, man, you're not into it, or you're just not very proactive. You're not like, you're not serious. So I would say this: never ask to just somebody random. And I'll just keep it about. Don't ask somebody like, how do I break into tech? You should do some research before you ask that. You shouldn't ask a company, are you hiring? You should do some research and know what they're hiring. Yeah. Or, do you have this role, or do you have roles in the city? Do your research. Like anything that can be Googled, do that first. If you're going to ask a question, ask yourself, can I Google this? Can I ask ChatGPT this? And then once you do and you don't get the answer, then ask that question. Because if you ask me a question that is easily on Google, I mean, I'll answer it, but I just might not take you as seriously, because it's just like.
It's like you're asking about tech when you ain't even did the basics in tech to find out how to answer your own question for tech.
You seem a lot better when you say, man, I looked it up last week. You guys are hiring for this position. Is the position still open? You sound way better than, hey, are you guys hiring for cybersecurity at this moment? And they may not do cybersecurity at all. You look stupid.
Exactly. Like, I did this research. So my question is this. They're going to respect it a lot more. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm supposed to be quick with the answers. Let me be quick.
That's
all good, though. There's a lot of value.
So tell me this, what advice would you give somebody? I'm going back to this real quick. What advice would you give somebody who is just looking to break into in the tech industry? You kind of gave a little bit Google, everything that's Googleable, do that first. So that's number one. But outside of that, what's the best way for that person to break into tech?
Yeah, so tech conferences, networking, I won't beat that horse. Going to industries, technology that helps within the industry you're already familiar with. So if you're a teacher, go into education tech. If you're marketing, go into marketing tech. If you're in finance, go into finance tech, call it fintech. Find technologies that you actually use. So if you're a nurse and you use Epic and you want to break into tech, I would look up roles at Epic, find the platform that you were using on a day-to-day basis and see in what ways can you support it with your transferable skills, which role actually resonates with you, because then you can really hype up your experience with Epic at your past company, your experience with the healthcare industry, your experience with the problem that they solve. So when you're interviewing, you're a subject matter expert in the industry and you're less of a risk. And then I would say go to job descriptions and study all the different departments and then go straight to the minimum requirements and see what are the mandatory requirements and the preferred requirements. And then if that's the role you want to go into, and then once you find that role, look for like 10, 15 other roles in other companies that are, in that role. And you're seeing like, okay, there's a demand for it. And they're all asking for the same things. But now find the courses that are going to skill you up in those areas. And yeah, try Class Central first to see if you can get some free stuff, because I'm all about free. But if you can't get it for free, then maybe ask the people that are currently in that role, which courses do you recommend that actually have the substance and the that really deliver, and then basically apply and then invest in those. But don't invest in something without like a clear idea of companies are hiring for that skill. And also don't take courses without actually networking concurrently with it. It's kind of the person that didn't take the course that's networking could beat you out because of relationships and familiarity or accountability reasons. They can pass off the blame that they were a bad hire to the person that was referred. And that's why when people refer you, they want to make sure that you're serious, you're intentional, you know your stuff. So if you're asking like very Googleable questions, they're not going to want to refer you to a company.
Can I ask something if that's okay, Barry?
Sure.
So I'm Jarrett. This is Ruby. So for me, what I found since I've, entered into the tech space, I'm also in healthcare. I actually took a job to learn Epic because it was $50,000 to get the certification. And, now as an entrepreneur, I think the hardest thing for me is when I'm, looking at jobs. I kind of left the job market because I had so many skills. I'm at 2,000 systems that I know. And what I found is because I know so many different ones and I can do more, I'm using it a different way as an entrepreneur. So my question would be, as an entrepreneur, what would be the best route for me to take with all of my skills, with all of my certifications that I have? I work with more private sector. I have churches and things like that. So I'm helping people who are less tech savvy with their tech issues as well. That's where I'm seeing more of a kind of like a support expert for them. So that's kind of where I'm at with my skill sets as an entrepreneur, not necessarily looking for a job in the workforce.
Yeah. I tend to try to simplify everything. Like, what is a problem and what is a problem that a lot of people have? And then what problem can you solve the most effectively? And then you can solve uniquely compared to other service providers. So it's kind of like a high level answer because it's like, without knowing your systems, but ultimately, like, what are the systems that most people have a problem with? And then how can you, identify the problem and solve it in a way that's more unique than others, and then market it as, I'm Ruby and I can help you solve this problem. This problem costs you X amount of money. Let's say this costs you $5,000 and missing out on sales, or $5,000 in productivity, or it costs your employees this much time. Once you implement my solution, we're going to be able to increase sales, decrease costs, decrease the amount of time your workers are having to focus on this, decrease the amount of missed revenue. And so if your value in terms of ROI is less than your service, then you should be able to sell that like crazy. And you got to just get to people that understand the pain of the cost, and then how you're able to basically solve that problem at a cheaper price. So that's kind of like my just sales thing, is like, if I'm selling a $250,000 product, I need to be able to justify $1 million ROI. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would market it, and that's what I would do research on, is like, all right, what is the systems that are giving people the most problems, that are costing people the most money or hurting their business the most, and then start just marketing and socializing how you can solve that problem, or even evangelizing that problem. People might not even know they have that problem, and just once you let them know first that they have it, and they're like, oh crap, I didn't know I could be making more money. Yeah, you can, and only for this amount I can have you making that money moving forward. So yeah, that's how I approach it. Hopefully that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. It's definitely direction I'm already in. I think for me, what I'm finding is, one, helping people research and implement systems, and then teaching their staff on how they can scale their business with the systems, and then maintaining and training with their systems. So that's where I'm moving in, is now I'm moving more into the educational side and being more of their tech support on demand. Because that's where I'm seeing is, I found a lot of people that had multiple different systems going on, but they don't have the capacity or want to learn or the time to learn how to use it. So I'm like the person in between, doing the systems for them in the background, and then teaching their team members as their company grows. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and also, like, I would utilize podcasts. I would like apply to be speakers at certain events that have your ideal customer profile at those events. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure Byron and O'Neill get a ton of real estate deals because they're thought leaders on YouTube and they're educating. And so people know, like, all right, they know what they're talking about. Let's do a deal together, right? Or whatever the case is. So putting yourself out on social media, podcasts that are, evergreen and live forever, those also will create opportunities. Like I never apply to speak anywhere anymore. I just get hit up. And I get hit up because they saw me over here and they saw me speak over there. And so, like, I never asked to speak for anything. I never asked to be on podcasts anymore. Like, O'Neill kind of hit me up out of the blue, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, once you start putting things out into the universe, people start coming to you. And so definitely recommend for the people listening, don't sleep on podcasts and creating your own podcast if you can't get booked on a podcast. And
I'm definitely working on that. I think it's just, I was so busy focused on my skill set at first, and then my portfolio. Now with over 100 different industries that I've worked with, now I'm able to speak. So now, being around Byron O'Neill, helping them with their podcast, more people are learning about my skill set. So it's definitely in the future. I just got to find the time, because they got me booked. I did find a need.
Yeah. No, and you know how to do it now. So yeah, just
sure.
Anybody in the audience, man, just do it. Just do it. I didn't know what I was doing with my podcast. I just decided to do it, and it worked out. I didn't know what I was doing on Clubhouse. I decided to talk, and the thing that makes Byron and Neil really great as well, and why I always support these guys, and I think that they're always going to win, is they're showing up genuinely and authentically wanting to add value. You know what I'm saying? It's not for the cloud. It's not for the this or the that. Like, but at the same time, yeah, our time is money. So we're going to do things that provide us a certain ROI. But at the end of the day, as long as you are focused on bringing value and putting that value out there, then the right people are going to want to actually like compensate you for that value, or it's going to create and turn into dollars. And so, I would just say, if you're in the audience, if you're a subject matter expert on anything, even if you don't want to do a podcast, just start recording yourself and sharing your thoughts at the end of the day about a deal that went well for you, or something you learned from, or a system you learned, or whatever the case is, and record it without expectation of posting it. So you don't have the pressure of trying to sound perfect and trying to make it sound great, right? But just start recording yourself every day so you get used to it. And then, you know, you watch one back and be like, yo, that's fire. I think that could help my people in my audience, and then post it. And it might only get 5 likes the first time and then 10 likes the second time. But once one of those posts goes viral, because you're dropping real value, and that's the key, actually drop real value, know what you're talking about. But if you know what you're talking about and it drops real value and it actually goes viral, then people start watching all your old stuff. And then if you have call to actions, they'll follow the call to action, and then it can start turning into a lead funnel. But if you just start off really with a value proposition and just like, I know this, so I'm going to share it, business will start to kind of come to you. So that's what I would say to tech entrepreneurs is, you know, not only have a product and a platform, but also have like thought leadership in the space. That will make people ask, like, what do you do? And it's like, well, I have this app that solves this problem. And then people are going to want to sign up, promote it, or have you on their podcast to talk more about it.
Well, thank you so
Love
much. I appreciate it. You know, the
This
guys
month.
need help. So
Yeah, no problem.
This is my last question for you, Jarrett. What do you think is the biggest challenges in the tech industry right now?
Biggest challenges in terms of that need to be solved, or the challenges to as an employee, or what?
Challenges as an employee.
Challenges as an employee. I mean, if you want to remote work in the past, it's going to be tough now. All the TikTokers and day in the lifers ruined it for
It
everybody.
ruined the game, man. See how y'all be doing?
Yeah,
Ain't
so
give y'all nothing.
the remote thing, I'm in the office right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, it is what it is, right? So no more of that. So that's a challenge. But beyond that, I would just say it's, I would say the biggest challenge is the amount of demand that's happening right now. People like myself and others that have made tech very popular. I think everybody and their mom's trying to get in there. And so it's kind of cluttering up the space for those that might have real intentions versus those that are just kind of applying for everything. So I think just the amount of applicants for roles is very challenging. And so if you're just doing cold applications all day, it's going to be a very low probability you're going to get actual look. So one thing that I would recommend is when you look at the job description, utilize things like ChatGPT and like post your resume in there, and then post the job description and say, analyze my resume, and based off this job description, let me know what critical skills are missing. And it'll list off all the skills that you're missing in your resume, and then start writing those in. Or if you want to be extra slick, be like, ChatGPT, rewrite my resume to include information from the job description in my bullets, and then it'll start like basically rewriting it for those bullets. But like, yeah, I would have AI for your resume, AI for your cover letter, and shameless plug, but not shameless. My company, Rightsy, we have an AI-powered career mobility platform that basically helps you with your resumes, your cover letters, your interview prep. You put in your job description, it'll give you interview questions, sample answers, and advice. It also has a salary negotiation AI. So you put in your offer letter, it'll give you 4 different areas where you can counter, it'll write the script for you, etc. We had it as a consumer product. We now don't. But if you follow me and DM me on Instagram, I'll send you a free account. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I'll support people that support me. So just keep it real. And that's another thing, man. Like, if you're asking for like resources and you're not supporting, you look crazy here. Like, people asking me for stuff and they're not following me. I'm like,
yo,
what's going on? You know what I'm
Like, that's a free give, bro.
Yeah.
Boy, that's called you a taker and you got stingy energy. My Jesus, you got to pick a better struggle. Yeah, you got to pick a way better struggle, man. Come on.
All they got the weird ones that follow you. Ask you a question, did I follow you?
Oh, my Jesus.
That's great.
My Jesus, boy, you got stingy energy and you're weird. Listen, I got one more question, and then I want to get to Derek's question that just asked in the chat. How has diversity and inclusion evolved in the tech industry from your perspective in the last couple of years or even months?
Yeah, so there was a huge wave of DEI after George Floyd, rest in peace. Huge surge in DEI initiatives.
So George Floyd got a lot of black people paid.
Facts. And that's when I was doing those clubhouse rooms. And they were just excited to go in there because they saw a ton of black faces in the audience. And they were just like, all right, cool. Like, there were diversity hiring quotas back in 2021.
Whoa.
To have. Wow.
It was 5 blacks.
Yeah.
Are you black? Are you Hispanic? Are you a double minority? Wait a minute. Where you at?
You got it down.
That's why they love the rooms, because they could say, okay, black. Perfect. What's your experience? Now they're asking questions like, man, I really hope they know what they're doing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
2024, I doubt there's any more diversity quotas. And I would say it's a little bit of the Trump effect. It took time, but the Supreme Court and what they were able to rule around DEI, now DEI programs are being slashed across 30 states. DEI is being removed by governors like the governor of Florida and Texas and others. DEI is getting fired from universities like Texas. University of Texas just eliminated all their DEI employees. And then all these DEI executives at these top tech companies have been let go. So it's not looking good for diversity in terms of it being intentional and an aspect that they truly care about. I can also tell, like,
you just got to have the skills today.
Yeah, like right now, it ain't about diversity quota. Like before, being black. Well, actually, I'll say being black in tech sales is kind of an advantage because we're so rare, for the most part. But I think ultimately, like, the mandate for diversity quotas, et cetera, are gone. It was funny. I'll just tell this quick story. The last company I was at, I won't say the name of it, but the last company I was at, I got hired for the role, and then they did a company stand-up about, basically highlighting the achievements. And they're like, yeah, so we did this quarter, we did this quarter, and we hit our diversity quota. And I'm like, okay.
Am I the diversity ticket? Like, wait a minute. Like, wait.
And I was the diversity quota. And
that is crazy, bro.
Bro,
hey, bro, you that guy, bro? That is hilarious. It's like, so that's me.
Yeah, I'm the only black person they hired, and so
that is crazy.
One black person, right? And so, and I was, in my mind, I was thinking like, dang, this interview process went quick. Like,
yeah,
dude, and it also helped though that my former VP was his former VP, so he my former VP and like, yo, Jarrett's solid. He killed it with me. You'd be lucky to have him. And it was like, bet. So, last thing I'll say is this, because I know we got to go. Baron's got millions of dollars to make. At the end of the day, make sure your brand, once you get into a tech company, is solid. Make sure that every person that you work with enjoyed working with you. Every manager that managed you enjoyed managing you. Every customer that you convinced to do something enjoyed working with you and benefited from it, because your reputation can really help you or hurt you. In every role that you apply to after you leave a tech company, they're going to back channel somebody behind your back and ask, is Byron a good guy? Should I work with him? Does he work hard? Whatever. And if you're the person that was on TikTok showing a day in your life, you got let go because
out of there.
You're out. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, nah, man, that dude lazy. Like, he's, et cetera. Also, bonus tip, especially for black men that are married with kids make more money and do better in tech, period.
I believe it.
And because managers can build rapport with you, you can talk about, your daughter, your son, basketball camp, this, that.
They trust you more too. That's another thing too.
They trust.
I've noticed, when you are committed, when you show that you are committed, man, you just look way more trustworthy to a lot of people, a lot of professional people.
Yes, absolutely. And plus, you have something that you're fighting for. So you're not gonna just like be nonchalant about the job. You got a wife, you got a kids, you got a mortgage, you got responsibility. You're not out here running these streets with your tech money. You know what I'm saying? You're not distracted by 5 women.
About to catch an STD, trying to live your best life as a tech guru. You know what I mean? It can go wrong. I get it.
So yeah, if there's if y'all are equal, somebody's married and somebody's not, they're going to go with the married person because the manager likely is married as well. And they know that you're going to have some more responsibility, accountability. You probably have good character. You have good follow through, etc. And I'm saying that as a non-married man. But I always like to promote, Black men getting married, Black family. And so and if you want to find a fire wife, go to these tech conferences.
Ooh.
And there.
Little spice. Real quick, Derek Allen had a quick question. Just wanted to get him taken care of, and then we can head on up out of there after this.
Yeah, what size companies? I would say 1,000 to 3,000 is a good sweet spot because they're probably in growth mode trying to get to that 10,000 employee number. So they're going to constantly be hiring, which means they're not going to be in crazy layoff mode as much, especially if they're a well-funded startup that's at a Series B, Series C, Series D. Anybody that's in those series, I would want to be a part of. But even 500 to 1,000 is good. If you're going from 0 to 100 employees, just know it's going to be rocky. You're not going to have much stability in terms of resources. Your role is going to change a lot. They're going to have you carrying a lot of hats. But the positive is you might get a lot of equity because you are so early. My startup has less than 100 employees. So I'm the only enterprise salesperson. I'm the one trying to figure out what does pricing look like? What does our implementation strategy look like? What should our presentation be like? So I am kind of the foundation, but then I get equity that represents that. So if we do get acquired for $1 billion or a couple $1 billion, then I become a multimillionaire. So the risk is high because we're pre-seed.
Reward
is
high
much.
too.
So, and the company I was at, WalkMe, they just got acquired for $1.5 billion. If I would have came in 3 years earlier, I could potentially be almost a millionaire, right? Or whatever. I came in late. So, I'm making some good money off of it. I'm thankful I bought my shares, but, getting in early has its positives, but it is risky. And just know that you're not going to be able to have that cushy kind of lifestyle. You're going to have to be in the trenches with the founders really getting it in, but the payoff can be crazy.
My Jesus. Man, listen, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you go check out Jarrett on his Instagram, Big Tech Energy on YouTube as well, and subscribe because, listen, this has been a value-packed session today. Listen, you literally can listen to this entire episode today and know that it has been valuable from start to finish, 100%. So I just want to shout out Jarrett for that. Appreciate you, brother, for coming through. And with that being said, you have listened to another episode of No Stingy Energy, and we're going to see you on the other side of success. All right. Peace.
Hey, what's up, everybody? A lot of people struggle in their business when it comes to real estate or just any business in general. Reason being because they probably using a pen pad, Excel sheet. You got to realize you got to treat your business like a business. Make sure you check out Taskify CRM. It's a CRM system. It texts and drips campaign, email. You can actually sign contracts within your CRM. I use Taskify CRM. If you want to check out the CRM that I use right now, make sure you check out that QR code, scan it with your phone. It'll show you inside of what we're using today. If you want to take your business to the next level, check out Taskify CRM. Peace.